Here now we will convert the entire scenario into a programming model. The same concept of automatic seatbelt warning in an automotive system we will take, and we will see how we can convert it into a programming. So it is not the actual full-fledged program, just the concept. Later you can modify it further. So if you see here, it is you're defining few values here. Hash define on means 1, off means 0, s means 1, no means 0. So um, here we will start. We will have a simple function called as void seatbelt warning. You will wait, as we said, as we discussed earlier, seatbelt warning. So that will not give immediately. It will wait for 10 seconds. So it will wait for 10 seconds. Then if check ignition is equal to on. So first it will check whether the ignition is on. After 10 seconds, it will check whether the ignition is on. And yes, if the ignition is on, then it will check one more thing. If the seat belt is off, means ignition is on, system is on, and the seat belt is not being put. In that case, the timer is set for 5 seconds and it will start the alarm. And this alarm will be in a loop for 5 seconds. And it has to come out, it has to stop the alarm in any one of these cases. So at this point, it has started the alarm and now it is in a loop. Now in the loop, what it is checking, if seatbelt is off, ignition key is on, and timer has not expired. These three things it will be checking. That is, seatbelt has not been put and the system is on, and timer has not been expired. Only if these condition is true, the alarm will be ringing. If any one of them is false, it will stop the alarm. That is, if you put the seat belt, immediately it will come out. If the ignition is off, so immediately it has to stop the alarm. If the timer expires, in that case also it has to come out. So till then it will be in this loop. So if any one of these conditions are false, then it will stop the alarm. So this is a kind of programming model. It's not a full-fledged programming model, just we are doing some assumptions and then we are trying to work out for converting the scenario, the actual scenario of a hardware, that we are trying to convert it into a programming model. Now we will see the next topic, coming to concurrent and communicating process model. Now models concurrently execute tasks and processors. So there will be several tasks that can be executed concurrently. So we can go with concurrent tasks. The program instructions are iterated and executed conditionally, and the data get transformed through a series of operations. So the program instructions, they many a times they are conditional executions or they are loops. So based on that, the data gets transformed into so many operations. Now, certain processing requirements are easier to model in concurrent processing than the sequential execution. So whenever there are whenever it is possible to convert the system into concurrent model, then it is always better to go with it than going for sequential execution, because the sequential execution is just executing everything sequentially and it will not utilize the processor effectively. That is a problem with sequential execution. Why? Because many a times the task may involve an IO waiting. So if there are 2-3 tasks, if we are going with the sequential execution, task 1 has started. Now it is waiting for IO operation. Then task 2 cannot start because it is a sequential execution. Or if it is in the sleeping state. So these things you will be studying in OS subject. So if the task 1 is in the sleeping mode, waiting for some operation, then task 2 cannot be performed. And the CPU is also waiting. Task 2 is also waiting. Task 1 is also waiting. So for these scenarios, sequential execution is not suitable because of the poor processor utilization. The best way is we split the task into multiple subtasks. Then it is possible to tackle the CPU usage effectively. As I said, if task 1 is going for an IO operation, then task 2 it is waiting. So task 1 is waiting. So task 2 can start off. This, I think you would have studied the status of the processes in your operating system subject. The start state, ready state, reset state, a blocked state. I think these things you would have come across. The same concept here also. So if the task is split into multiple subtasks, it is possible to tackle the CPU usage effectively. That is, when the subtask is under execution or going to wait or sleep mode, then we can take up the next task. So you can switch the task execution. Concurrent processing model requires additional overheads in task scheduling, task synchronization, and communication. Yes, one way it is an advantage. Another way, task scheduling, task synchronization, everything becomes slightly complicated. So these things we have to work upon. Now let's see the same scenario, and we will try to see what are the different events that we can see here. So one is create and initialize events. What are the events that we can create? Wait timer expire, ignition on, ignition off, seat belt on, seat belt off, alarm timer start, alarm timer uh, uh, start, alarm timer expires. All these things are different events. What we can do is we can have one task called as wait timer, another task called as ignition key status monitor. It only monitors ignition status, and another task only for seat belt, and another task for alarm control, and the other one is alarm timer. So this entire thing we are we'll try to divide the entire scenario into several tasks. We'll try to convert that into a kind of programming. So we will see in the next topic, next slide. So here you are seeing the so many tasks, that is a wait timer task. So as I said the previous thing, we are dividing the entire scenario into several tasks. Ignition key status monitor task, alarm controller task, ignition seatbelt status monitor task, alarm timer task. So all these things are different tasks, and they will be switching from one to another based upon the situations, based upon the events. Things will be switching from one task to another task. So this we will see in detail how exactly it is working. So to start with a simple one, we have a wait timer tasks. If you see wait timer task, it is it waits for 10 seconds. So anything you start it, you know that the system will wait for 10 seconds. So set event wait timer expires. If it expires, then it will start checking the another condition, alarm controller. So initial wait timer is that it waits for 10 seconds. Now coming to another task, this particular task, what it does. So here it is ignition key status monitor. If you see here, we are checking two things, whether ignition is on or ignition is off. So let us see how it is. If ignition key is on, then what is the event it is going? Set event ignition on. So we are in the ignition state, okay? And we will see whether the seat belt is on or off. Then we will switch to the next state. And when once the ignition becomes off, so right now it is an on state. What will be the next state? If you just make it off, then it will go to the ignition off state. So if ignition key is on, initially it will be in the on state. The next state is it can be off. Else means if ignition is off, so what is it? Initially it is in the off state, and to which state it can go to the next, it can go to the on state. So with this way it keeps switching. So in this way we will see how it is interrelated to the other task.